Hello and welcome to another long form one today. Hopefully this one doesn't get deleted. Would you rather live a life knowing there is a God and die to find out there isn't one, okay? Or live a life knowing there is no God and die to find out there is one? I guess it just kind of depends on what kind of person you are. Like, if you're doing lots of things in the name of God and then hoping that that's going to somehow buy your entrance into heaven, and then you die, would you realise? Because if there's no God, assuming there's no heaven as well, how would you realise? You know? Is there no God but there's a devil, and you just go to hell, and they're like, oh, all the stuff you did for God, you were actually doing for me. Yeah. Like, as if you die and there is no God, wouldn't you just cease to exist and have no conscious? I think I wouldn't care if there was no God. But other than that, if I thought there was no God my whole life and then I died and to find out there was a God and the Bible or whatever was correct and said you have to do all of the things in the Bible or whatever, otherwise you go to hell, and I turn out I'm going to go to hell, then even still I feel like I made my choice, you know? There was a decision to be made. I chose that I didn't believe that God existed. I will suffer the penalty for that. I mean, also, I think Jim Jeffries says it in one of his things, like, if you go down to the devil and then you get, like, raped for all eternity, it's going to be pretty horrific at first, like, and they're going to torture you for a while, but, like, unless they can make you forget any of the tortures that you had, which would be the true torture, then you'd eventually just be like, yep, seen that. For an eternity. They'd think up of loads of different ways, and one eternity later, someone would be like, oh, let's try this. And you'd be like, yep, it's a good one, but they tried that on me about 3,000 or 4,000 years ago, and they done it a few times, I got used to it, and yeah, try thinking of something else. And then you would eventually become the king of hell, because you'd know all of it, and it wouldn't bother you anymore, because there's only so much that you can suffer. I don't think that's an actual belief of mine, to be honest with you. There's only so much you can suffer. Everything can always be worse and worse. But for an eternity, like when you've lived that amount of lives... Anyway, let's see what other people have said. I'm going to go for realise there is a God. Yeah, most people have gone for that. Yeah, I don't know if it's for the reason that I thought it was, but yeah, most people have gone from realise there is a God. What do you reckon?